Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaoatman.com. Welcome to Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness, a daily podcast devoted to spirituality and self-help. If you're new, I want to welcome you. If you're returning, welcome back. So today I wanted to talk to you about Archangel Zadkiel and how we can work with Archangel Zadkiel in our lives. Archangel Zadkiel has been coming up a lot for me lately. Just the other day, I had a client who contacted me and said, I'm seeing this purple color everywhere. What does it mean? And I thought that I knew that this was probably Zadkiel, but I wanted to look it up just to make sure. And so as I was looking this up to talk to her and tell her, who this was and what exactly he does, I thought, this really is relevant in my own life. Because Archangel Zadkiel focuses on forgiveness, and he can help you heal from emotional pain from the past. And he can help you to release old anger and feelings of victimhood so that you can live out your divine life purpose. And this is just perfect for me because I've been working on trying to forgive my ex, and I've been working on this since February, and it's a process. And I feel like every time I get to a place where I feel pretty good, I find something else out about him and it makes me mad all over again. And it's like I have to go right back to the drawing board again. For example, this weekend, my son was talking to me and he said, well, Mom, Dad made like $75,000 a year and never filed taxes. I'm like, what? I was so mad because our child support was based off of the job he had when we got divorced, which was like at Best Buy. So he made maybe like $20,000 a year. And I had to put in the divorce clause that he would get to claim one of the kids on taxes. So finding out that he hadn't even been filing taxes, so I could have been claiming both kids and getting more money on taxes, which would have like maybe sort of made up for what he didn't pay in child support. And because he was paid under the table, you couldn't take him back to court because you couldn't prove that he made anything. Oh, it was just infuriating. And I'm like, what? So anger all over again, right? I'm like, all these years I struggled to go back to school and to change careers and then to be a teacher and not make that much money. And I struggled, and he sat there and watched that, knowing that he could totally have helped more than he did. And I'm like, okay, you got to get over this. Like, this isn't helping. But I think that this is part of the process. This whole learning how to heal from anger and from feelings of victimhood. Because what it did is, again, triggered in me feelings that I have about finances. That is a huge trigger for me because I watched my mom struggle as a single mom growing up. And then I turned around and had to struggle as a single mom growing up. And I just understand that this is bringing up those triggers in me because it's supposed to. When we go through this healing and learning process, those triggers are supposed to happen. And you may be like, why did that just happen? I was feeling great. Now all of a sudden this other trigger came up. It's supposed to. You can't heal something if you don't know it's there. And some of those triggers are hidden way down deep. And unless something triggers it to come to the surface, you don't realize it's there. So these triggers have to happen in order for us to go, oh, wait, I still need to heal that. So that's been a trigger for me because if you watched my live, you may have heard, but also, so he told me all of this stuff and I was like, really? And mad about that. And then yesterday or the day before, my son was trying to help out by getting the mats out of my dog Nala's hair because she's a golden doodle, so her fur gets so matted so easily. And he went to cut one of them out, and she moved her head, and he like sliced her ear a little bit. And we're like, oh my gosh, so we took her. Luckily, her vet was still open. It was Friday, and it was right before closing time. But they're like, get here, we'll get her in. So that all cost almost $400 just to get her ear fixed. And the old me would have been like, are you kidding me? Like, hello, another money trigger. But I realized those two things going together so closely, that happened on purpose, because the universe is trying to test me of, are you over this money thing yet? Do you realize we're taking care of you yet? And I had a lot of clients that week, and I looked, I hadn't transferred the PayPal balance yet from my clients, and I go there and I had almost exactly what I needed just in the PayPal account, and we had gotten paid that day too. So I was like, oh, you know what? I don't have to worry. Like, I had the money, like I have it. There's no reason for me to panic. I know that the universe is taking care of me and the universe has my back. And that's exactly what happens. So it's like a test for me. Are you going to trust that we have your back? Do you get this yet? Are you learning this lesson yet, that it doesn't matter what happens to you, like you're taken care of? And it's true. It really is true. So Archangel Zadkiel is a wonderful archangel to work with you to help you heal the emotional pain from your past, because some of you, especially right now, with everything astrologically that's going on, there are a lot of things coming up from your past. So if you're feeling like, man, I was doing okay, and then all of a sudden this stuff started coming up, it's on purpose. It's happening for a reason. I believe it's August 8th, there's like a Lionsgate portal, and it's all about releasing everything from the past and stepping into the new. And so you may find that in the next few weeks, things from your past come up to kind of trigger you, and it's not in a bad way. So if something happens and you're like, oh my gosh, and you want to fall back into victimhood, don't do it. This is a test for you to see if you are healing that emotional stuff, or are you holding on to it? Because right now we should be focused on releasing the old anger and releasing those feelings of victimhood so that we can focus on remembering what our divine life purpose is. We can ask Archangel Zadkiel for emotional healing. He can shift our focus away from painful memories, and he helps us to focus our memories on the beautiful things that have happened in life, because that's what it's all about. It's about learning how to let go of the stuff that isn't helping us, which are those painful memories and the resentful feelings and the feelings of victimhood, and learning how to focus on the things that are helping us, which are the beautiful memories in life, because what we focus on is what grows. And if you stay stuck in that victimhood mentality, and you focus on all of the ways that things happen to you that weren't fair in your life. And I know there are things that happen to you that weren't fair. Everyone has things that happen to us in life that aren't fair, and some more than others. And I truly believe the people that end up having the crappiest lives early on, it happens for a reason, because it helps us to really understand who we are, not who we think we are, but who we actually are. And so we can step into our divine purpose, because many of us have a life path where our purpose was to come here and help heal others. And we can't heal others if we haven't experienced what they've gone through. And I say that to my clients all the time. I know what you're going through because I've been through it. I've been there, and I couldn't help you as well if I didn't have to go through all of this stuff myself and understand exactly what it feels like for you. So if you want to work with Archangel Zadkiel, his color is deep violet, so you may see deep violet. Whenever I'm working with certain angels, I will see the color out of the corner of my eye. It's like sparkles of that colored light. And sometimes when you take pictures, you may see an orb in your picture that is that color, because that happened to me one time. I had a pink orb in one of my pictures. And then the gemstone that represents Zadkiel that you can use to work with him is amethyst, and amethyst is a deeply healing crystal anyway. I have a beautiful amethyst piece and I love it. So you can get yourself amethyst. You can get it online on Amazon, or there is a store that's called the Shaman's Market. Whatever you do, just make sure you read reviews, because sometimes crystals people sell aren't real. But they will say in the review, because people are very happy to leave a review if it's not good. So they will tell you about that. So who exactly is Archangel Zadkiel? He's the Archangel of righteousness and virtue of God. He holds divine power within him, but he is continuously working with Archangel Michael for healing the emotional suffering of people and replacing the negative conditions in our lives with light and joy. So they're always teaming together to help for the good of mankind and in aiding in conflicts with dark entities. And there are definitely some dark entities in this world. And so those two are working together to work against the dark entities and to help heal the emotional suffering of people. And I love that. I often work with Archangel Michael in my healing practice, but I've never thought about working with Archangel Zadkiel, and that's an amazing thing because emotional healing, that's what a lot of us are suffering from, is something emotional pain we need to get rid of. So Archangel Zadkiel is perfect to work with. And when I'm working with angels, I usually call on more than one at a time too. Like I would call on Archangel Zadkiel and Michael. So you can work with many of them and you can pray to them and they do hear your prayer. And anytime I call on Archangel Michael, I just feel his presence immediately. So one of Zadkiel's main attributes is the violet flame or holy amethyst. Together with his essence, the violet flame represents a symbol of freedom, forgiveness, and justice. He reveals the light inside of us through guidance and understanding, and he advises that judging others is wrong. So he teaches us how to have compassion for others and not to point fingers, but rather to share forgiveness towards those who have done wrong against us. And I did a quick video on Instagram and I said this, but when you judge others, you're really judging yourself. Because what we point out that others have flaws, we're really pointing out that we have a flaw of judging others. So it's important not to judge, or if you're having this feeling that you want to judge others, that says something is going on within you that you need to fix or you need to work on. So when you feel the urge to judge someone, it's important that you call on Archangel Zadkiel to help you get rid of those feelings of the need to judge others and instead to have compassion and kindness for others, because that is what we so desperately need more of in this world. In the Bible, Archangel Zadkiel is the one who presumably stopped Abraham from sacrificing his son Isaac. His figure is represented as being dressed in a shining violet cloak and set in jewels, and his eyes are pure blue with violet sparks, while his beard is white and clean. He wears 2 items. He comes with a crown set in sapphires and a scepter of triumph set in jewels that shine like lightning. He has a tremendous amount of wisdom, and he's often compared to a king, being strong and wise, with many years of experience. So why is it that he's known for spreading the ideal of tolerance in the hearts of everyone? Zadkiel aims to help the population of Earth seek forgiveness, mainly for themselves and for others. He's the patron of all angels who are in charge of forgiveness, mercy, or have spiritual missions to teach humanity and compassion. So Archangel Zadkiel works with a lot of healers because people who are working to help teach humanity and compassion, Zadkiel can help those whose life mission it is to be teachers and healers, because oftentimes, as a teacher, what do we want to teach our children? We want to teach them compassion for others. That's a big part of being a teacher, is what we do. And for healers, a lot of what we do in healing is help people heal their emotional pains and their wounds and to forgive others. So it makes sense that Zadkiel is the helper of those who are teachers and healers. Some spiritual teachers suggest that Zadkiel has a plan in helping humanity free itself from negativity by empowering people to have more balanced lives and to gain healthier relationships, including a healthier relationship with the divine. So it kind of makes sense that with everything that's going on in the world right now, that we would be seeing Zadkiel more, because I feel like right now what's happening is that humanity is going through a huge shift and we're seeing compassion more and more, even though there's a lot of negativity going on. Think about it. There are so many people out there fighting for human rights and who are totally disheartened at the injustices that are going on out there. And people are standing up for their fellow man by going out and protesting. And this just, to me, signals that there's a huge shift in people having more compassion for their fellow man, which is an awesome thing. I love that. And so it makes sense that Archangel Zadkiel would be around more if his mission in life is to help humanity free itself from negativity by empowering us to have more compassion for others, to live a more balanced life. Because what are we seeing these days? We're seeing people going out and protesting, but we're also seeing this huge pandemic where people have to stay at home and they're having to really reevaluate. I mean, at least I have. From this pandemic and staying home, I've had to reevaluate my life and what's important and what's not, and learn how to let go when something really isn't important in my life, because when we don't have balance, it just throws everything off. So it's so important that right now you're really trying to have balance in your life. So look at your life. If you feel like, man, I just work all the time and that's all I have time for, like, you're missing it. You need to do something so that you're not working as hard, because we have to have balance in our lives or you will burn out so fast. And so Zadkiel is here to say, get that balance in your life. What do you need to do to ensure that you have balance? And you can call on Archangel Zadkiel to help you balance your life. And that can happen in so many ways. I know that for me, there were times when I had to work a lot because I had to make ends meet. But when I would pray, like, I'm so exhausted, I really need help. And praying for help is a big lesson for a lot of people, because some people don't want to admit that they need help. But we're only human and we do need help sometimes. So when you pray, please send people into my life who can help me. And that's when amazing things would happen for me. I had people who just came into my life. They were family friends, and they're like, we want to give you, we don't have any kids or grandkids. We want to give you this amount of money just to help you, get you, so that you don't have to work as hard and you can have more time with your kids. And it was something totally unexpected that was amazing, and such a beautiful gift that people can give you. And people can come into your life and help you in so many ways, but we have to learn how to ask for the help we need. So if you're having trouble balancing your life, call on Archangel Zadkiel. Call on Archangel Zadkiel if there are people that you need to forgive in your life. If you find yourself going to that place where you're like, life isn't fair, why is this happening? And believe me, we all do it. We all go there. That is just a human conditioned response to say, life isn't fair, why do I have to do this? Call on Archangel Zadkiel to help you in releasing those feelings of victimhood and helping to empower you and know you can forgive those who wrong you. I can forgive my ex. It doesn't mean that I think he was a great person or that what he did was okay. It just means that I understand that he didn't have the tools he needed to know how to be a decent human being sometimes. He just didn't. And I can forgive him for that and understand that while he made my life more difficult here, he was also teaching me that I can be self-sufficient, that I can get through anything, that the universe always has my back. And even when he doesn't have my back, the universe did. The universe is always taking care of me, and I don't have to worry about anything. And I don't worry about it anymore, because I found that worry doesn't do anything except make you miserable. But when you give all of your problems to God, when you give it to the universe, to your angels, to all of our, the angels and guides and people who are surrounding us to help us, not people, but spiritual entities that are around us to help us, life becomes so much easier, because there's so many ways that spirit can intervene on your behalf in a positive way. But so many of us go through life going, this isn't fair, I don't know what I'm going to do, and being angry and bitter, instead of realizing that being angry and bitter doesn't do a thing to help you in a positive way. But if you learn to call on your spiritual team and you learn to stay positive, even through the tough times, even when it feels like life is handing you a bowl full of lemons and, you're like, what do you want me to do with this? As that saying goes, you make lemonade, right? You turn something positive from the negative. Like, what was this here to teach me? And in a lot of ways, the biggest lessons that these things come here to teach us is that we don't need to worry. We're being fully supported all the time by the universe. We don't need to be afraid. We don't need to go into that panic mode. But that is such a human thing to do. Our ego steps in and says, oh my gosh, I'm not going to make it. I don't have money to pay my bills. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to do that. And then that is when we need to allow the universe, spirit, our guides, angels, God, to come in and tell us, give us peace, and to let us know that you can do anything. You can do all things. That's one of my favorite Bible verses when I was a kid. I learned it. It was, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. But it's true. I can do anything, knowing that the universe totally has my back, and that anything that I'm trying to do, it's going to be a struggle if I try to do it alone. But if I call on my team and say, you know what, please intervene on my behalf. Please send people who can help me. Please, whatever the request is you need. And not in a desperate begging way, but I understand that you are going to move on my behalf, and I'm so appreciative for that. And just see what happens. Instead of trying to resist everything, get in the flow and allow the things to come in and to happen. And it's amazing because we will be tested. Things will come your way and you'll be like, why did that happen? Like for me the other night, I'm like, why on earth did my son have to cut my dog's ear and now I have to go and pay this money? That was my first initial thought. But my first thought was, oh my gosh, I hope the dog is okay. But I mean, when she went to the vet and she went back there and I'm thinking, why in the world did this have to happen? But then I realized it doesn't matter. Like, it's fine. I have the money. I'm more worried about whether or not my dog is going to be okay. And, and I'm comforting my son because he was so upset. I'm like, listen, you tried to do a good thing. You learned a lesson that you can't trim the dog's hair without having someone to help you. And again, there we go. You need help in doing these things. That's a good lesson. Ask somebody to help you. Hold your head steady while you do this, because while you had good intentions, you can't do everything by yourself. And in the same way, that's what the universe is trying to tell us. Like, look, you have good intentions. You want to be able to conquer the world alone, but you can't. You've got to call on your team for help. You've got to ask for help. And that's a really hard lesson sometimes. My mom is going through that lesson right now. They put together a fundraiser for her. And she's just, she says, well, I don't want to have trouble asking for help. I don't want people to, I'm not a charity case. I don't want them to give me money. And I'm like, Mom, you've helped so many people in your career. You get out in the community and you have helped with food drives and clothing drives. And she went and sandbagged when there was flooding in the area for her school. I mean, she's helped in so many ways. But that's a lesson for her, is to allow people to give back to her. And in the same way, that's a lesson for all of us sometimes, is to allow for the help. So if you want to call on Archangel Zadkiel, he brings with him that violet flame. It's a form of very high vibrational energy that's capable of healing and burning negative energies or low vibrational entities. And I thought this was interesting, but one of the feminine extensions of Zadkiel is Kuan Yin. And Kuan Yin is the Asian master who's viewed as the goddess of compassion. And she's often said to be like the female Buddha. Zadkiel is seen as kind and noble, but he maintains a good balance between masculine and feminine. He also helps us with memory. So if we have a difficult time remembering things, you can call on Archangel Zadkiel to intervene. And let me tell you, I'm going to be needing this soon. I feel like I've been so busy lately that I cannot remember things. It's terrible. And it just gets worse. I know it's because I'm busy. I need to slow down. But he is known as the angel of memory. And this fast-paced world, it can have a really negative effect on us sometimes. Sometimes we lose sight of the spiritual, important nature of ourselves and the fact that we are nothing without the divine, right? Divinity is everything that we are. We forget to take care of ourselves from an emotional and physical standpoint. And we forget to ask for guidance when we're under pressure or we have too much going on. So we can ask Archangel Zadkiel to help us sustain our memory. Or we can ask Archangel Zadkiel to help our loved ones in remembering too. And we can ask them to help us remember important things and enhance our memory functions. So I love that you can do all of those things. You can meditate and invoke Archangel Zadkiel. So when you do that, just sit quietly and call on Archangel Zadkiel. Archangel Zadkiel, I'm calling on you to help me in my life, help me to find balance, help me to find compassion for others, help me to heal those old emotional wounds, help me to remember the important things that I need to remember, help me to remember my divine purpose. And when you meditate and invoke Archangel Zadkiel, it can lead to an increased capacity to understand angelic messages and understand and be aware of his guidance. So I love that. I think that it's amazing that we can call on those angels at any time to help us. That's just an amazing gift. I really think it truly is. So take advantage and call on the angels when you need them. Now, I wanted to pick a card for you today, and I chose the deck Healing with the Angels by Doreen Virtue. 2 cards came out, so I thought I would take them both. The first card that came out is Freedom. And I love this card because it's all about reminding us that everything we do is a choice. And if we feel like we are in a prison, it is because we put ourselves there. And we have the freedom and the ability to choose different every single day. So if there are things happening in your life that you are not happy with, this card is telling you to free yourself. Speak your truth, speak up, and know that you absolutely are in control of your life. And if there are things happening around you that you don't like, then it's time for you to take action and to change those things. Because as I said, every day you have the ability to get up and make new choices. So if you don't like your job, choose a different job. And you may be thinking to yourself, oh, it's not that easy. Well, it is that easy. We can do that. It takes effort. But again, you can call on the angels to help you. All right. And then your second card is Listening. And this card is telling you that the angels are giving you some important messages right now. And this is your confirmation and validation that if you've been feeling like you're getting guidance, you are. And that it's important for you to listen to the guidance that you're being given. Because the angels are all around you right now, supporting you, and they are there to help you, and it is time for you to trust them. You are receiving repetitive messages through your feelings, dreams, visions, inner voice, or knowingness. Are you really listening to these messages? Are you following them? If you get an inclination to call someone, go somewhere, or read something, it's important for you to follow this guidance. It's also important for you to ask your angels to take all of your doubts and worries from you and to fill you instead with divine wisdom and knowledge. I love both of those cards. Those are some amazing messages. So I hope that you guys are really calling on your team, doing the spiritual work, meditating, all of that, because it is so super important and it is so easy for us to get away from all of that, especially with our busy lives. But it is super important to continue to make that a part of your practice. All right, guys, well, I want to thank you so much for being here with me. As always, if you like this podcast, please subscribe. Please leave me a review from wherever you're listening. Leave me some stars on iTunes. That really helps me out. And I want to thank you, especially to those of you who've already done that. If you want to work with me, you can go to my website, melissaoatman.com. There you will see a list of services I offer. You can purchase the service directly from my website and then contact me to book it. We will schedule your session. I do all of my sessions online through Zoom, so you never need to leave the comfort of your home. Also, if you want to follow me on social media, I go live Mondays at 6:30 Central on Facebook, where I do a free card reading for you. If you show up for the live, I will pull a card for you. I also post videos to IGTV, and I have free guided meditations on my YouTube channel, so go check all of that out. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope that you guys have a beautiful day from wherever you're listening. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.